Hi, Bryanna. We're going to focus on the topic of tone production. Do you do anything when you practice to practice your sound?
To practice my sound, I probably just like make sure my embouchure and like my lower chin is pointed, because that's what I'm always told, and make sure the sound is not too sharp or flat.
Good, good. Those are great, important things to think about when you're working on your sound. Do you do any long tones or any kind of slow warm-up notes to think about those things?
Not exactly. I mostly do scales and stuff for warm up.
Okay, great. Well, it's a really good idea to do, we call them long tones, but they're basically just slow notes where we can focus on really listening for our sound and all the things that go into making a sound, like you mentioned, some of them, the embouchure and the air. So we'll just do a very simple one. Do you know your F major scale?
Kind of.
Okay, so we can just do a really slow F major scale, starting on just one octave, sort of like. And then you can breathe and go back down. So just to kind of really listen for the sound, and like you said, kind of think about all the things that go into making that sound. Very good. Nice doing that right on the spot. So you can do any kind of exercise you want for long tones, but it's a great idea to start at the beginning of your practice session with something slow that kind of allows you don't have to think about the notes too much, because we can't really think about our embouchure and our air and our posture and all these things when we're maybe even playing scales, right? You're thinking about what your fingers are doing. So I'd like to start by talking about embouchure. You mentioned that, and you mentioned the chin. So can you talk to me just a little bit about how we form the embouchure and what it's supposed to look like?
So I think you have to have your chin pointed down, kind of, and then your teeth are on top of the clarinet, and the top of the mouthpiece kind of pushes up at your teeth, sort of, and then the corner of your lips kind of go inwards to make a O shape with your mouth, kind of.
This is all great. This is all great basic stuff for the embouchure. So the embouchure is designed to hold the mouthpiece, to hold the reed, and to shape the air that goes into the clarinet. So it's really important. It's probably the most important thing that we can start with on the instrument. Maybe air is up there too. So it's very, very important about creating our sound and allowing a clear articulation, allowing the reed to respond, because it's all about getting the maximum vibration out of your reed. So you mentioned a lot of really important things. Let's start with the chin. So you mentioned pointing your chin down. And this is where talking about embouchure becomes a little tricky, because we're asking our face to do this kind of complicated thing that it doesn't normally do, right? So what does that pointing your chin down mean?
I don't, maybe extending your face, kind of, and when you point your chin, the front part of it, kind of it's all scrunched up, I guess.
Okay, yeah, that's it's hard to talk about these things, right? So let's think about something that we do naturally, like smiling. So when we smile, okay, go ahead and give me a big smile, like a really big one. Yeah, and then feel the bottom of your chin right here with your hand. So do you feel how the skin is stretched? And you should feel the structure of the bones underneath. So that's kind of the goal of the pointed or flat chin, is that we want to take all this stretchy, loose skin and make it nice and flat so that it's not absorbing the sound. it's not absorbing the vibration of the reed. It's kind of like, if you scream into a pillow, right? It's not going to be very loud. And we want it to be loud. We want lots of sounds. So let's try, we're going to try to smile again really big. And like I said, I know this is maybe a little awkward, but we're trying to get our face to do things it doesn't normally do. And then the other thing we have to think about with the pointed chin is what our bottom lip is doing. So what is the function of the bottom lip? What's it supposed to do? Because it's kind of stuck with the chin, right?
I think it's like when you point your chin, it's mostly like kind of wrapped around your teeth, sort of. Mm-hmm. And then like the bottom teeth are pushing up against your lower lip.
Yeah, can you do that again, what you just did? Yeah, that looks really great. And I'll show you in a mirror. So it's really good to have a visual aid when you're working on embouchure, because you can't see what's happening, right? When you're playing, and otherwise you don't really know what it looks like. You don't know what it's supposed to feel like. So if you know what it's supposed to look like, then that can help you then be able to feel what it should look like. So go ahead. Yeah, exactly. Now, what I want you to think about with your lower lip, sometimes we're taught roll our lip in our mouth, right? Some people say roll it over the teeth. But that's a little ambiguous, because if we roll our lip in, sometimes then our lip's in too far, right? And then I can't really point my chin. It's kind of curved instead of flat. And then also we can have a problem where the lip's too far out, and then it sort of gets bunched here. So we want that to be, like I think you said, wrapped around your teeth. That's a good word, wrapped. We want to feel that kind of compression around the teeth. So I like to say, imagine if there's like a vacuum cleaner in your mouth that's really strong, and it's just sucking the skin against your teeth. Yes, that looks awesome. So I'll show you what that looks like. So you see your lip isn't in your mouth, but it's nice and taut. And you can go ahead and take your finger and feel that. Yeah. And what I really like about what you're doing right now, you have this big circular muscle that goes all the way around your mouth. And like you said, this kind of O shape, right? That's what the embouchure should be doing. Now, when you do that, I can see that this muscle right here is pulling against the teeth. And that's what we want it to do. You probably heard that biting is bad. However, we all do it. And part of that is if we don't have the bottom part of this muscle doing this, then we just get this top down motion. And it's almost really impossible not to bite. So that's kind of a good start, is to get that lower lip. Awesome. So take a look, see what that looks like. Mm-hmm. And the other good thing about what you're getting now is this nice curve in your chin. So if you look at my profile, right? You see how I have a nice curve here? That's a truly flat chin. So go ahead and look at that. Yes, just go ahead and stretch it down and think about that vacuum seal. And so watch this curve here. See if you can get that. Look how nice and flat. You can put your finger right here. Feel that. That's all the way down. Perfect. And then the hard part's holding it there, right? So see if you can get that. Awesome. And just hold it for a few seconds. Getting those muscles used to doing something it's never done before. Awesome. Do you feel comfortable with what that's supposed to look like? Yeah. And you want this to not be loose. You want it to be nice and suctioned, because again, that's going to interfere with the reed vibrating. Okay, so when we're trying something new, we're trying to change something, we put the clarinet back in our mouth. We're going to do whatever's comfortable, because we're trying to make a good sound. So we're going to start without the clarinet and then try to work our way to it. So I'm going to give you a coffee straw. And these are great for practicing air, articulation, embouchure, anything that you're trying to do that's new, where when you go to the clarinet, you're going to do whatever feels comfortable for you. So let's go ahead, and I can hold up the mirror for you. Put your finger here and feel. Good. Try to feel that. Yes, that's the better lip position. See how it's a little bit more out of the mouth and stretched? Good, and you're getting this perfect divot in your chin. So hold that, put the coffee straw in. Awesome, and then just blow through it. good. Did you see your chin wanted to move when she started blowing? So this is what we were working on at this stage, trying to keep it, once we have it, really static. And if you need to breathe in, just go ahead and breathe in. That air isn't going to go anywhere before you breathe out, so you have plenty of time to set your embouchure. And then breathe out. Good. And feel this stretched out. Awesome. Excellent. Try to keep it all the way down. There you go. So you want to feel kind of, you'll feel burning here probably. That's a good thing. It's kind of like working out for your face. Good. How does that feel?
It feels like very stretched out.
Very stretched out. Okay. So I think you have like a good foundation of your embouchure. We're just trying to get maybe 30% more stretch and more tightness in this bottom lip. And it's going to get you 30%, maybe 50% more sound. Okay, cool. So you can put your straw down. And so it's like if you go to the gym and you pick up weights and you've never worked out before, you don't want to go to the 100-pound weights, right? You're going to start with the low weight. So we're going to take our mouthpiece and barrel off, because playing right into the clarinet's like picking up a really heavy weight, and your muscles aren't ready for that yet. So the key is now trying not to revert to whatever feels comfortable, trying to do this new thing. So go ahead, get that bottom lip stretched. I'm going to hold out the mirror for you. There you go. Good. And you already have really great corners, which is very nice. So try to get that maximum stretch right here in the middle. Good. And let's just don't worry about the top teeth, just rest the reed on the top. See if you can get a good stretch there. Good. Good, and nice and tight. Excellent. Okay, how does that feel? Different? Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right, good. That different is good. Okay, so I want you to take a little bit more mouthpiece in. If you see on my mouthpiece patch, kind of right about there, it's maybe the upper third of the mouthpiece is kind of where we want our teeth. So just, it might feel like a lot, even though it's just a little bit. Can you put a little bit more mouthpiece in your mouth? Get that bottom lip stretched first and then put the reed on top. Excellent, excellent. All right, and then just try some air through. Try not to move the embouchure. Great, that was really good actually. Okay, so if you want to take in a little bit more, you can breathe first. And then take your time to set the embouchure before you breathe out. Good. Excellent. Yes, that's even better stretch. Good. Awesome. So if you hear the sound moving around, kind of like, that's usually our chins kind of moving. So that's a key, that we're trying to keep everything really still. And that's the goal at this stage. But you're doing a great job with the new position. So let's try that one more time. Try to hold that position really steady as you play. Excellent. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to throw one more wrench in and ask you, what is your tongue doing when you're playing? Do you know?
It's like up towards the top of my mouth.
Okay, that's good. So do you think about a vowel sound when you play?
Mostly like O, I suppose.
Oh, okay. Oh might be a little bit low. So let's try something. Let's try E. Just say E. E. Okay, good. Do you feel the back of your tongue kind of touching your top teeth, E, when you say E? Okay, awesome. So we want the back of the tongue to be high, but then we have to direct the air down into the clarinet, because the clarinet goes at this angle here, right? So we want to start with E, so we get the back of our tongue high, and then think E-U, like gross, U. We're going to add EU, and that brings in our corners too. You mentioned the corners. You actually have really good looking corners on your embouchure. The EU, and that also drops the front of the tongue position a little bit. So I know this is goofy, but can you say EU and really exaggerate?
EU.
Awesome. Okay, good. And as you bring in the U, really try to form your embouchure. EU. So get that bottom lip nice and flat. Yeah, there you go. Try it one more time. Good. Good. So it's kind of hard sometimes to work on embouchure without the tongue position because, like we said, it shapes the air column. Both of them work together. So if we can think about both of them, that'll really be helpful. Okay, so let's try that one more time. We're going to add thinking about that EU vowel. Very good. Good, Bryanna. You're picking up this up really fast. So what I like about the sound is that the sound sounds really clear and it sounds really focused. So we don't want a wide sound like, oh, we want a nice centered tone and a really clear tone. And you're getting that now, which means you're doing everything right. Okay, so one more time, we'll listen for that clear tone so you can hear it. And if you can think about letting that reed vibrate, so pulling the bottom lip down, just letting that reed vibrate, sending the air through, that'll help too. That's the goal of everything. One more time. Yeah, awesome. Okay, you want to try it on the clarinet? So when you practice this at home, you want to start with like the straw, just the face, then the straw, then the mouthpiece and barrel, and then work up to the clarinet. So we're going to go to the least resistant note on the clarinet, which is open G, and we're going to try the same thing, but it will be more resistant. So try not to change the embouchure. You will have to push your air a little bit harder though, okay? So I'm going to pull out the mirror for you. Go ahead and set up. It's a beautiful looking embouchure. Just look in the mirror, yeah. Good. Awesome, awesome. How's that feel? Harder, right? Yeah, the chin wants to move. So it'll take some getting used to, but then I promise after a couple of days, this is gonna be easier. So let's do one more exercise with your ear to help. When we blow through the clarinet, we want to think about cold air because that's fast air, and we want as fast air as possible. So try to take a nice deep breath and then blow cold air into your hand, as cold as possible. Awesome. So the colder, aka the faster, the better. Try one more time. Nice deep breath. Good, now can you do that and form your embouchure and blow the cold air through there? Yeah. Can you get a little wider opening? Yeah, good. Awesome, so that's what it should feel like, except that we're pushing against all this resistance on the clarinet. That's what it should feel like. So let's try that on your open G. Good, send that as fast as possible. Awesome, so you see how the sound gets more full and it gets clearer. And your embouchure is still just a little bit shaky, but it's looking really, really good. How does that feel to play?
It feels like very resistant when you're playing G.
It feels like it's harder to play G?
Yeah.
Harder? Okay, go back to your normal embouchure and let's see what that feels like. So you are getting a little bit more sound. Can you hear a difference in the sound from the old embouchure?
It's like, sounds more dull, I guess.
You're actually really right about that. So when we talked about more centered tone, we're actually talking about more overtones in the sound. So it's going to have more ring and kind of sparkle to it. So you're right on with that. So that's the centered sound is what we want to go for. Now, if it's feeling more resistant, then probably something is getting in the way a little bit, either air or the lip opening's too tight. So let's try with a new embouchure one more time. Take a really deep breath and then really focus on that bottom lip staying nice and firm and the whole embouchure being nice and open, that bigger, when we talked about a little bit bigger airstream. Good, and push that air through fast. Good, keep the chin down. That's perfect. Awesome. So part of the reason why it might feel a little bit more resistant is because your muscles aren't strong in this new position yet. So one of the things that you can do as you're getting used to playing on the clarinet is try maybe a little softer reeds for a while, or you can push your reed down to make it a little softer just until your muscles get really strong. But I think the sound is really, really great. It's a big difference. And I know that once you start to feel comfortable, it's going to project really, really well. Do you have any questions about anything we worked on today?
About like the making like your chin like curved.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you just like how flat does your bottom lip need to be? It's like, do you push it like all the way in or like in like halfway?
My bottom, my lip, you know, I don't really push it in. I just sort of pull it against the teeth. So if I pushed it in, then I see how I lose my curve. All right, so I actually don't really put it in my mouth. I just kind of suction it against my teeth where it normally is. And then when I add the clarinet, then there is lip between my teeth and my clarinet, of course, but it's nice and kind of firm. So one thing you could think about generally is that the reed should kind of generally touch right on the bottom part of your lip, like right where it joins the chin. If you want to try that, feeling that. What you're doing right now looks really great. I think with your old embouchure, the lip is kind of loose and a little bit out. It's just not suctioned. So if you can think about that, it would be kind of keeping that nice and tight against the teeth. You want to try that? Feel that? It is a different position for you than you're used to. And try taking a little bit more mouthpiece. There you go. That's perfect. So it is going to feel different than what you're used to. Yeah. Do you want to see what that looks like so you know for the future? Go ahead. Mm-hmm. So you'll see that most of the lip is kind of out of the mouth. Everybody's lips look a little different, so it's all depends on how you're made. And then the reed's kind of touching here. Mm-hmm. Good. Does that make more sense? Mm-hmm. It's a really complicated thing that we're asking our face to do that it never does naturally, right? We usually use our face to speak and smile and or frown, make facial expressions, but we're not usually doing this for long periods of time, so it will take some getting used to, but you caught on really, really quickly. So it's fun working with you.